York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
Yup, good to go. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knicks Time Show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And guess what, guys? The Knicks win another one, beating the Pistons 128-98. This game was over tip-off, guys. Pretty much the whole game was garbage time, and the Knicks did it to them in several different ways. OG Anunoby gave you 21 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. Josh Hart gives you 13 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Cat gives you damn near a triple-double. What a good day. 21 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Bridges gives you 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. You notice a theme, there's a lot of stealing going on, all right? Brunson gives you 36 points, 5 assists, 2 steals. McBride gives you 10 points, 4 steals. The Knicks was passing the rock, 30 assists. They attempted 38 threes. You see that 3 number is going up too. We out-rebounded the Pistons 52-43. And the Knicks, man, the Knicks just forced them into 22 turnovers and 16 steals. Held them to 13 points in the first quarter. Held them to under 100 points in the entire game. And the Knicks massacre the Pistons and win this game. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it all. The good, and the great. There's no damn ugly today. It was just all Knicks. And let's talk about it. All right. And before we talk about the details of the game, I introduce you to my guy, the Latin assassin, Lee Escobedo, looking like he got I'm loving the sweater, man. You looking like you looking like a demon slayer right
here. Let's go, man. It's actually finally getting chilly here in Dallas, so I can actually enjoy some layers and some comfort clothes instead of it being hot as hell. These Knicks, man, unbelievable. We really needed a game against a bum team. We've had a very, very tough start to the season, playing competitive playoff and play-in teams, playing teams when they're at their hottest in Boston and Cleveland, 2 of the best teams in the NBA right now. And those were 2 losses on the Knicks' head. So we kind of need Detroit to get us to improve the continuity of our offense and allow us to really refine some things in our defense, like cutting out those backdoor cutters, guarding the perimeter better, guarding the pick and roll better, and not letting role players kill us. And I feel like the main things have been our Achilles heel so far this season. We cleaned up and locked down.
Yeah, this is like that one step over a glorified scrimmage, pretty much, where it's like, all right, this is what we need to tighten up. So let's see if we can tighten it up against this team. And boy, did we bring out the screwdrivers, okay? The wrenches, the whole 9. It was very tight. Pause. So let's get to it. The defense in general. I'm just amazed that we have these type of versatile defenders on the team. The whole defense, the whole team looked like they were just locked in. Even Brunson looked like defensive player of the year candidates. The way he was playing defense, I don't know if he was tight about Cam Cunningham kind of torching him when he was in New York last year or what. But the entire team was just on a string defensively. They was playing passing lanes. There was rear side contests were great. Pick and roll defense was great. Multiple efforts from multiple people. There was a time where Brunson was on a big man, then McCall doubled up, and then Josh Hart rotated to the top cleanly. It was just amazing to see. And there was no let up for 4 quarters. The second quarter, maybe, they were just like, we're up by almost 35, whatever, for like about 3 minutes. But then they snapped right back out of it. I was thoroughly impressed. And if we're going to play this type of defense for most games, even the bottom feeder teams, even the top tier teams will have a problem. I can't wait to start to see us play more of these top tier teams as we work out the kinks, because, when I compare this game to the Celtic game, like like I feel like that Celtics game was us just still trying to figure it out. I'm really waiting to see what happens when we have more of our offense, more of our pieces together, and more of a flow on what we do defensively, and have that against other top tier teams to see where we kind of stand up.
This is Leon Rose's team. He has constructed this team the way that he has wanted to build a contender. This has his fingerprints all over it, especially now that we've moved off of Julius Randle. He's brought in every single player on this roster except for Mitchell Robinson has been a Leon Rose acquisition in some shape or form. And now the roster is being tailored a second time for the skill set and deficiencies of Jalen Brunson. So having those two strong perimeter guys who can, like you said, give you great double team coverage, give you great help defense, be able to switch on somebody when Brunson's being targeted. Those are the type of guys that rise the floors for everyone else around them. And even though we have injuries, the guys, the veterans that we picked up in the offseason are plug and play. I want to give you a few stats before we start talking about some of the players specifically. Right now in this game, we shot 38 threes, 48%, 36 rebounds to their 38, 30 assists again to their 23. After this game tonight, we have some impressive lead-wide positioning. We are third in true shooting, overall true shooting. For a Knicks team and Knicks fans who've been watching Julius Randle and RJ Barrett the last couple of seasons, we have never been top 3 in true shooting. So it's unbelievable we have the efficiency of OG and Bridges to help with that. We are third in offensive rating at 120.6, fourth in defensive rating at 119.2, and the craziest thing of all, we're dead last in pace. Number 30th, which has been a top Thibodeau staple, but the fact that we're still able to shoot volume threes, we're top 5 in 3-point percentage, and we're a top 3 offensive team, it shows just how unbelievably efficient we are when we get into our half-court sets and we master the pick and roll between Brunson and Cat.
Absolutely. And the crazy part about this game too is a lot of our passes and a lot of their offense wasn't even just half court sets, even although our half court sets were great. It was a lot of it was off the defense. We got a lot of assists off the defense, just deflections, sharing the ball, passing the ball, and getting into the open court. Our defense really set us apart today, and got to give Lee flowers for pointing this out the other day. I think I saw Piccolo I think Piccolo posted this today. When Lee talked about how he noticed that he's gotten Karl Anthony out of pick and roll situations, and instead he's involved OG in those situations. And shout out to Tom Piccolo pointing this out. What the Knicks are doing, they're pre-switching. They're pre-switching before they see the pick and roll coming, so it gets Cat out of his greatest weakness on defense, in my opinion, pick and roll coverage. Now Cat is, going to his strengths defensively, which is the help defender. And lo and behold, the defense is all coming together for us, and you get a performance like we did today. Tibbs masterminding, man. Tibbs masterminding the defense, playing to his players' strengths on both sides of the ball. So, it's funny, like all this stuff was happening when we was losing in the beginning, a couple of games lost. This stuff takes time, guys, to build chemistry, to figure out what people's strengths and weaknesses are, to figure out how to use different people. And we're starting to see it come together now. And the more games we play, the better it's going to look. So I'm really excited to see where this team is headed in its trajectory, on both ends of the ball.
Appreciate that shout out. I gotta give credit to y'all. You guys make me raise my game. I kind of come into writing about basketball from a historical context and player evaluations. Those are my two strengths. I am not someone who played a lot of organized ball, so I learned things through watching and reading. But being on the show, I have to keep up with y'all because all three of you know play calling and the defensive coverages as well. So I've really had to improve the product that I'm looking at to be able to be a cautious observer and an active observer as well. So I'm trying to pick up patterns, and I noticed that last game because Karl Anthony Towns wasn't fouling out.
Yeah.
When I started noticing that, or didn't foul trouble, I started trying to figure out why. And I saw him rotate away from being the primary rim defender when guys were penetrating in pick and roll action. And I was like, damn, that's a smart move by Thibs.
Very smart.
And be more of a help side defender, because he's actually a pretty good shot blocker when he doesn't have to be guarding the point of attack or guarding a big.
Exactly.
In those situation. So, man, I appreciate you pointing that out. That's the type of wins I'm looking for because it's not my strength, but I'm definitely trying to get better at that and sharper at that. So I bring that analysis to the show.
Yeah, man. We all got to bring something good to the show, and man, you sharpening those tools, man. Gotta appreciate that. Gotta appreciate that. Yeah, man. But there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but that defense, man. Woo, the defense is, you know me. Ebony too. We like defense. If you can't play defense, we kind of look at you weird. And I'm glad that Thibs is coaching his ass off and he's tweaking it so the team can play the best defense it possibly can. Which also kind of brings me to Mikal Bridges. It's, well, first of all, the trio of Bridges, OG, and Hart defensively is just a nightmare for most teams.
Nightmare.
But I really seen it when Bridges sat down and it was just OG and Josh. Not that it was bad, but it was like it went from like scary to like tough. When Bridge sat down, when Bridge was there with them, it was scary. When he sat down, I was like, oh, okay, they seem like a little bit more comfortable. And I feel like the plus minus kind of echoes that story because Bridge had 15 points, but he was like a plus 31, which is crazy. Like, and it's crazy how long his arms are and the timing he has. Like, he's able to even like block centers going to the hole. And you look at him and you think he's fouling, but he gets a lot of shots clean. And also 3 steals too. A strong point of attack defender mixed with the mid range. Don't let these people fool you talking about Bridges would cost too much and too many picks. And man, F those picks. He is worth every freaking penny. He's one of the reasons why we are in contention status right now. Because it's scary hours the day after Halloween when you have Josh Hart, OG, and Bridges patrolling the paint and rotating for each other.
Something else that I've noticed on the defensive side, and I'm a play off of your Bridges compliments. This is something that OG and Bridges I've seen do. If you watch Detroit since Cade Cunningham's came on team, he lights his ball screens really high up because it gives him the opportunity to go downhill, and he can make it at any level once he's past the 3-point line. He's really good at either getting to the hoop and scoring on his own or finding his teammates. And what OG's doing, they're finding the spots on the left-hand corner where Cade usually gets that ball screen, or he just starts whatever the play is, and they're cutting off that first initial pass, which is forcing the Pistons to go to their second and third options. And then that's when Bridges switches on to that ball handler, which in this case, a lot of the time was Beasley and Jaden Ivey. And he's that ball hawk on-ball defense is shutting that player down from hitting a high percentage shot. So it's forcing them into long isolation twos. And if you're getting Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Ivey, or Mateo Beasley in long isolation twos, you're winning the defensive action. And that's something I'm seeing Bridges and OG doing together as wing stopped. That is probably a part of Tom Thibodeau's mastermind plan.
Yeah, even McBride too. So McBride had 4 steals. The Knicks were routinely blowing up dribble handoffs like left and right. Every time I felt like you saw a dribble handoff or even a semi-lazy pass, it was a steal. It was gone. It was so bad that the Pistons were just scared to pass the ball for chunks of this game, where they were just anticipating somebody playing passing lane and they would just throw it out of bounds. It was really hard for them to get into an offense. So yeah, like I said before, the defense is looking scary. And if the defense is looking like that for all the other high-powered teams, it's going to get scary, man. It's looking real contender-ish. And we didn't even get Mitch back yet. We didn't even get Precious back yet. If the defense is looking like that, without those guys back, woo. And then you get the rebounding back with those guys too. So you start to balance out a little bit. Then you get some cat at the 4. It can get crazy. It could get a little bit crazy. Granted, this is the bottom feeder team, but this SmackDown was ridiculous. Yeah, yo.
Shout out Phil Porto. I see you in the chat rallying the troops. We love you, brother. We got to get you on a post game here soon so we can officially introduce you as part of the family.
Yo, listen, it is Man Friday, so people can jump in the link and talk with us. So Phil can come in, Eric can come in. I know Fritz is already submitted his link, so he's gonna come in soon. But it is Fan Friday, so if you guys want to jump in and rock with us, we definitely can do that. But also, like, listen, super chats are welcome. We also have PayPal and stuff. We want to send things that way, but all those things help us keeps the light on. It helps us pay for stuff because not everything is free. You got to pay for the Zoom. Got to pay for you got to pay for all the little things that break down the thing of the chapters. We got to pay for stuff. So if you want to support us, please give us that super chat for real. And even if you can't, hit that like button, subscribe, share. That's also supporting us as well. We appreciate everybody who's supporting the KOT show. All right, cool. And the link is at the top of the chat. It's pinned at the top of the chat. But also let's also get to the passing too, because one thing I wasn't worried about. Ebony was worried about the team passing. I felt like we had too many weapons where we were going to be able to share the wealth some. But now we're at a point where we have 2 back-to-back 30 assist games. And last year we wasn't having games like that back-to-back. So for it to be this early in the season and have 2 30 assist games is a really, really good sign. And the whole team got into it. I'm gonna give Lee a lot of props today. This is more Lee props.
Let's go.
Lee talked about Hardenstein, cat kind of being used like Hartenstein, which is you'll see it too. You'll see how a lot of the backdoor cut actions happening where people are getting layups. We've actually been doing it a few games, but it seemed even crisper this game. Maybe because the team's just cutting harder. Maybe because the Pistons stuck at defense. Maybe it's a combination of both. But it was really it's different when you're running that Hartenstein type action when you have a guy who can actually hit the three. So I think it makes that pass even more readily available. And I also got the pass of the day to me was the behind the back falling pass to Jalen Brunson who get the late. What? That's the ooh pick.
I think that Karl-Anthony Towns is playing with better cutters and guys that have better handles with this Knicks team than he did at any iteration of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm not saying that to knock his teammates on my team. I know there's like one season with Jimmy Butler, but for the most part, a lot of the guys that he was on were either perimeter oriented or weren't guys who slash and attack the basket outside of Anthony Edwards and maybe like a little bit of Alexander Walker. But we have a lot of great downhill guys that are really good to the hoop, not just in the starters, but the bench. Induce and Shamet when he's healthy and Precious when he's healthy. So I think we're just seeing the first shades of what Karl-Anthony Towns can do, running the offense through him and allowing him to play mate at the high post or in the short roll. I think he's only going to get better. And I said it on Twitter, and I like 800, it was my most liked post ever, that Karl-Anthony Towns will unlock new parts of his offense. We're finally built like a modern NBA team, and this roster complements each other. Even though OG and Bridges are not Durant and Booker, everyone fits, and that's the most important element to winning besides defense in modern NBA is how do your guys complement each other and fit next to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially OG in the first quarter, he gave you like 9 points in the first quarter. He was able to finish at the rim. It was beautiful. I just need him to not dribble the ball off his foot so many times. Once we clean that up, though, we good. Like OG, I see you. The 3-point shot is good. Your defense has always been good. You got freaking tentacles for arms, so you're stealing the ball all willy nilly without even trying. Clean that up. We're definitely good. So shout out to the passing. The passing has been amazing. Jean-Marc, shout out to my guy. $10 super chat.
Let's go.
Says, do you guys see the ball movement? No Randall stopping the ball and wasting the time clock. Yeah, the one thing I definitely got to give Cat is he doesn't hold the ball. He doesn't hold the ball. Makes quick decisions, and it keeps the offensive flow moving. Randall will go in between being really, really good at passing the ball or ball hogging. I still feel like he was probably doing the best passing of his life right before he got injured. But for Randall, I feel like he needed to actually keep that flow state of moving the ball a lot quicker. And that was always his Achilles heel to me. So I could definitely see the difference with Cats for sure.
One of the things I think is going to make us a special contender, and I mean that in terms of how long we will contend. I think a lot of teams have like a 2-year window. I think we're going to have a 5. And the reason that I think that, and I know, listen, out the window, but I try to back up my wild takes. This is my reasoning. Not a lot of teams that go into contention mode have bailout options with their 4th and 5th option that are able to operate in the mid-range. Most of the time, those type of shots come from your 1st and 2nd best player. If you think about Chris Paul and Booker when they were in Phoenix, before Mikal Bridges moved up in the echelon of an offense, those guys were hitting the bailout clutch shots in mid-range, Paul and Booker against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then you had Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Everyone else typically is a catch and shoot 3-point option or someone who can be a lob threat or someone who's a backdoor cutter. This team, you got Cat and you got Brunson and you got 3 guys that all are specialists in the mid-range. So if a play falls apart or someone has to go into ISO, you have a bucket, not just a bucket, a high percentage, high efficiency bucket, someone who can hit them a lot and hit them consistently. Bridges, that's his favorite spot to shoot in. OG's like Dallas Store Kawhi. He's knocking down pull-up J's off the dribble. And then Hart has that nice push shot or the fadeaway shot. That is a rare commodity for a contender to have. And if you think about the other contenders in the NBA right now, in OKC and Denver and Minnesota, they don't have that option. Only one other team does, and that's the Boston Celtics, where they got Derek White and Drew Holiday able to hit. That's what made them so dangerous in Dallas. Dallas was trying to stop Tatum and Brown, and then those guys would be switching to the mid-range, and they would hit back-breaking mid-range 2s to maintain the lead or to push it forward.
You know what, Lee? Funny enough you said it because I was thinking the same thing. My only like hiccup was like I still feel like we have the advantage over every team, and except for maybe Boston, where it gets a little bit fuzzy on how we can do that. Because, and not to say we can't beat Boston, because that's not what I'm saying at all. But I feel like we might have to do it a little bit differently because I feel like Mikal has that advantage to post up a lot of players on every team except for Boston. So it's like, I'm like, all right, cool. Who's our post up guy in the mid range? Then you go, okay, Jalen Brunson for sure. But this is, but then I feel like we have to go more into Cat. I feel like the key to beating Boston isn't just the Cat 3s, but Cat in the post. Because Boston likes to switch so much, and they like to have the Drew Holiday matchup on Cat. Like if we're going to go for 2s, I feel like we need to just be punishing Drew Holiday with Cat and like make them kind of like double it and get the 3s or just get him in foul trouble. So I feel like we might have to go about it a little bit different way with Boston, but then every other team, I think we'll be able to lean on Mikal in the mid-range or OG in the mid-range along with Brunson.
Yeah, this is great. This game has given us kind of further things to talk about in a wider context of the eventual championship that I think all of us think that we are definitely going to be winning this year, or at least be a high contender for. I think we have another advantage of Boston is the bench. When fully healthy, their guys can give you problems in multiple ways. Like Boston's bench, those guys can hit 3s. And Horford still has a little bit of post-up action in the mid-range. But at 40 or 39, 40, you can't use that very often. But Hauser and Pritchard are pure 3-point shooters. Right. Pritchard's a movement shooter, Hauser's catch and shoot, but they don't have anything in that intermediate space, and they struggle attacking the basket unless you're playing a team without a real good rim protector. Well, we do have a good rim protector in Mitchell Robinson and Precious off the bench, but Precious has shown an extended bad this year before he got injured. Shamet was showing you scoring at 3 levels, and now Deuce is showing us an intermediate game. He's showing us pull up mid-range with a defender tight on him, limited space. So that level of versatility, multiple scoring advantages are going to give us a pro against Boston when those guys are not strong defenders at any stage in any action.
I agree, and This kind of brings me into another conversation I want to have about the bench. Because it's nothing to complain about really. And I battled about this. Lee knows I was battling having this conversation because I do feel like there's like certain like fan conversations where we as fans, we're always going to root for the rookies. We're always going to want to have the rookies play in the game, regardless even if they deserve it or not, just because they're rookies and that's just the way it is. But like these rookies and Tyler and to me, they're showing like they're NBA ready players already. And that's not even just me really saying that. Like even other analysts around the league are kind of like, yo, Tyler Kolek looks like he's a player. So it's like, all right, I'm not crazy. It's not just me being, home fan Nick bias. So I'm looking at them. I'm just like, okay, I can see a space for them. And then I'm looking at Cam Payne, who I respect as a player. You hear me say it every show. Phoenix was great in Phoenix. Sixers did great in the playoffs. Here so far in the beginning, I feel it's like a little bit of a struggle with the bench production. But he's getting the minutes because of his defense, for sure. He's active on defense. He causes hell on defense, and that's what's keeping him on the floor. On the offensive side of the ball, I feel like we're heavy on Deuce so much, and there's no other scoring option really. Which makes me believe like, damn, maybe Tyler can fit in there. Or maybe even Bacone could fit in there at some point. But yeah, I fight that feeling like, man, am I fanning too much? Or should I just let it rock? You know what I'm saying? Because it's winning, we're working, it's still early. Let's see where it's going.
I have agreed with you from the get that Bacone and Tyler Kolek should theoretically be in the rotation. But I've argued, and when I think about reality and through Thibs' point of view, he is not going to play rookies. We're no longer in a rebuilding situation, so now that we're a contender, I can't see him risking it. But as we said off camera, I think 28 other coaches would probably have Kolek and Bacone Diop in the rotation, with the exception of Nick Nurse and Tom Thibodeau. I think they're the only two who would not do that. Which is crazy. And I think Bacone was kind of in the rotation when Precious first went down.
Yeah.
And Shamet, but his defense wasn't up to snuff. So he kept it Sims and a little bit of Hot Porty and went down to an 8-man rotation. That's Thibs' bread and butter. But when everyone's healthy, I don't even think Cam Payne is in the rotation anymore. I think Shamet takes his spot, and the 9-man rotation of the starters plus Deuce, Shamet, Precious, and Mitch. And those 4 guys, you don't have to worry about the scoring pop based on all the different advantages and intangibles I mentioned earlier with their different ways of scoring. But then Deuce, his scoring load is lessened by having Shamet and Precious be able to do a little on-ball action as well. And the offensive rebounding and the lobs with Mitch and the putbacks, and second chance points, all that stuff.
Yeah, because it's funny because they were leaning into Deuce being the point guard for real, which is something that the Knicks said they weren't really viewing Deuce as. They was never really viewing Deuce as a full-time backup point guard. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Shamet comes back. If because I thought for a while in preseason, my brain was like, wait, is Thibs gonna go 10? Because he kept playing Deuce with Shamet. With Payne together. So my brain was like, are they going 10? So like I'm just curious to see what happens when everybody gets back to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I think Ian Bedley reported that the Knicks expected Deuce to play the 1 and the 2 this season. Like he was going to spend time at both guard positions.
Okay.
But I think if Payne is removed and Shamet is slotted in and Deuce is at the point, I think then that's where you see Bridges playing with the second unit over OG. And Bridges is actually the one bringing the ball up and initiating the offense. That would be my prediction.
Yeah.
If things are adjusted.
That's what I thought too. I thought Bridges will be playing with the second unit, and it'll kind of be Bridge, Cat, and like Deuce and Shamet or Deuce and Cam. That's why I was kind of shocked the way Thibs is running the preseason, but it is what it is. Free Tyler Kolek. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like Tyler, man. I like him, man. I like that kid. Just get the activity level up on defense in practice, and then maybe Thibs will give you a wink, because the way you pass the ball, the way you shoot in that mid range, he just seems so controlled.
Yes. The passing is not a surprise, and I've seen it from rookies. I don't know if I've seen it from a second round rookie, but I've seen it from rookies in the past come in and just be dime droppers. I have not seen an unathletic American white point guard come in and score and pull up jumpers the way he has. Man, maybe since Steve Blake, it's been a long time since I've seen a rookie do that. Over a decade. So that's special. That's a special level of moxie that he has and confidence to come in and not just find other guys, but get his own shot in half court and in transition.
Yeah, man, just using momentum. That's the thing. When you're not fast and you're not tall, you using momentum. You just hard drive, stop, pull up, get on balance and shoot that shot. That's what he's doing. He's just using one. That's why I keep comparing him. I'm not saying that he's Jalen Brunson level of scoring. So please don't take what I'm saying as he's the next coming of Jalen Brunson. But that mid-range move specifically, where he drives and stops on a dime and then pulls up at the mid-range, that reminds me of Jalen Brunson, like of how he gets open, even though Jalen Brunson isn't big and athletic. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I had full faith with Mo Cheats on the bench, an offensive point guard guru, and Thibs and Brunson and Deuce in front of him, and Payne. I had no doubt that he would develop into his full potential on this Knicks team.
Absolutely. Salute to the chat, though. Salute to the chat, man. Good game, man. I love smacking the Pistons. This is the longest active winning streak for any team. Like, we beat them, I think, 15 straight times, which is crazy. And the Knicks just keep on winning. So shout out to the Knicks for keeping that winning. And I saw Tim Hardaway Jr. again today. He used to be a Knick, and I was reminded of how bad his defense really is. It's like, he's still bad. And it's like, I don't know. Shoot, they traded Grimes. I thought they was going to use Grimes, a defender who can possibly shoot threes, and I almost felt like they downgraded. I don't know. Sorry. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a better shooter historically, but y'all need defense, man. Y'all need that, because that was atrocious.
His shot selection's ass too. I mean, I think he feels like he has a green light in Detroit because everyone else really suffers to score. And I think that as of right now, he leads a team in 3-point percentage. Yeah, 53.3 attempts on 53.3 percentage on 6 attempts a game. That's fool's gold. As someone who has watched a lot of Mavs games over the years, Mav fans were ready to buy the plane ticket for him out of Dallas themselves. He was so hated. He was actually, if you went to a Mavs game and he would check in, he was audibly booed in the AAC. Mav fans turned on him after about, 6 or 7 seasons he was with the team. They had the longest Tim Hardaway experience you could possibly ever not want. So I really think Detroit needs to make some adjustments. I was looking at their roster and thinking about who they had. They've drafted very strange. A lot of guys who are athletic, can't shoot, can't really create their own shot, aren't good at passing the ball, aren't really good in transition. This is a lot of pieces that don't work. The overlap of Sasser and Holland and Thompson. They have a glut at small forward, and they don't have a lot of depth at guard. It's a weird backcourt that I don't think works either, and they have no shooting up front. Tobias Harris, Duren, Isaiah Stewart's their only shooter they have from the front court. It's a messy roster, and we got them before they were able to figure it out. And I think Beasley needs to be in the starting lineup over Hardaway. But listen, JB Bickerstaff is trying to figure out what's happening in Detroit. This is not Cleveland. It's not the Cleveland roster or Cleveland talent. So I'm glad we would go in there and work out kinks and experiment and take some risks with Cat as a playmaker. All of that was so worth it because we're going to go into the next couple of games and really kick some ass.
Man, I'm looking at my watch. I'm just like, about what time is Cade Cunningham asking now? That's what I'm looking at, because I had a whole mess over there. That's a place where your career could go to die. And you don't line. It's looking like that place looks like it's dying, just like the motor industry died. It's crazy.
Accurate. And he's a baller. Like, it's obvious he has star potential, and none of those other they have a lot of lottery picks like Houston does, but Houston drafts right and they develop even better. You're not seeing a development over there in Detroit for guys like Ivy, who should have taken a step by now. Thompson, who should have had a better rookie year, was one of the worst shooters in the entire NBA. I don't see Ron Holland fitting without a jump shot, and he's from Duncanville, my area, on that roster. It's just bad roster. It reminds me of the Knicks when they had the first year of RJ Barrett. It was a bunch of guys that couldn't shoot that all operate in the same spots, and teams would come in and drop a 30-point game on us. And that's what we did this time, because now we have the shooting and we have a comeback.
Hell yeah, damn it. Modern NBA team with shooters, Lee. Shooters.
Yep.
Remember, Lee, we wanted to stretch. Well, I was kind of iffy on Cat because of the defense. But I'm happy. I'm happy that Thibs looks like he knows how to use them. It's making me a believer, man. But we have a modern NBA team. Huh?
No one wanted to stretch five more than my ass.
Yeah, nobody
on this podcast.
Nah, that's a fact. I wanted to stretch five too, but I wanted the right stretch five. But I'm glad that Thibs is coaching his ass off. It's making me a believer on how to use everybody correctly.
Yeah, great point. We haven't really given him his flowers. Thibs has coached, I think, excellent to start this season with the adjustments, the changes, the schemes, being able to hide Cat's deficiencies, to trust Bridges, and to increase his shot selection, even when he was really shooting bad those first preseason games. I love the way that Thibs has handled this roster. I think maybe he's overplaying the stars a little bit when you're up by 30 in the fourth, but screw it. At least you gain continuity, right?
Right. Nah, I feel you. I don't care. I mean, maybe this game, maybe a little overboard this game, but like we up 30.
Right.
I was like, okay, probably took him out like 8 minutes.
It's a fair argument.
Nobody's hurt, so I'm taking that to the bank. I'm taking that.
Thank God.
I'm taking that to the bank. All right, let's get to the rest of these super chats though. And also for you guys who want to join the conversation, the time is now. Hit that link at the top. We can pin you in, and we can get your thoughts on the game, on the Knicks in general. It's a video link, so it's a little Zoom link. You go over there, click that link, we'll bring you in. All right, but let's get to these super chats. All right, got to that one. Paris Duggar, shout out to Paris Duggar, who sends a $2 super chat. Says Thibs needs a smack for putting Cat back in up 30. Yeah. What's funny? You could tell that, like, after they're up 30, like they were going through the motions, kind of a little bit.
Yeah. And
Cat was just like throwing up whatever. He's like, all right, block.
Except for OG. OG was still locking up.
Well, yeah, OG is gonna be OG.
Man, I love OG. He's worth every penny.
That's a fact. Worth every penny. I'm sorry.
He's one of the greatest role plays I've ever seen. Like his role play, he reminds me of Ron Artest a lot in the way that he plays. A lot.
Expound. Oh, you're talking about defensively
and also offensively. Ron Artest was a great mid-range player. He could also post up smaller guards and even could post up bids. He guarded fives for large portions of his career. Those series of Lakers and Boston in the finals, he was guarding KG a lot of those plays, and he hit big threes. He turned into a 3-point shooter
later. Yeah, when he went to the sports therapist.
Yeah, I think actually he started shooting threes when he was in Sacramento and Houston, and then took that with him when he was in LA. But I remember that huge three he shot to win the finals with the Lakers against Boston. Kobe trusted him. I think OG could really be that guy for us.
No, I agree. OG is a beast, man. Worth every penny. Worth every freaking penny. Goodbye, IQ and RJ Barrett. Hello, OG. All right, let's get it. More super chats down the pipe. Make it make sense sends a $4.99 super chat. Shout out to you. I don't think I know you. Thank you. Welcome to the show. He wrote, "Don't underestimate the Pistons. This is the first game they lost like this all season, including Boston."
I feel like I've already responded to that with some of my criticisms about their roster construction. Cade is a star. I think the rest of the roster has a long way to go to reach their potential, but Bickerstaff is a good coach, and he seems like he's well respected by the roster. I don't think Monty ever had the ear of a locker room, and he has an advantage of having some vets this time. Beasley and Harris. There's someone else I'm forgetting too. Well, I don't count Tim Hardaway as a solid vet, but he has some veterans in that locker room now that I think can give his message forward to the young players. It's just about finding the right rotation. That a lot of it's that. And until he does, they're going to be inconsistent.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like you said, especially in that 2-guard spot, like Beasley is like not really the best defender, but he can shoot threes. And then it's the same thing with why am I drawing a blank right now? Yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. definitely can't defend to save his life. And then you have It's like I feel like there's a whole bunch of like decent, okay to decent players, but like still the wrong fit. There's like it's like a mosh posh over there. Like there's nothing, there's no hierarchy. There's no like this piece goes with this piece goes with this piece. It's just kind of just like we need a shooter, but you have like these same guys who can't play defense next to each other. Is when you have multiple, especially on the wings. As us as Knicks fans know this better than anybody else before we got OG and McCall. If you have multiple wing players who can't defend, you're cooked. Cooked. And that's what Detroit is dealing with right now. It don't matter if you can even hit a shot or not. You can't stop a nosebleed. So I don't know.
Yeah, they have like 5 wings, and 2 of them, Hardaway and Beasley, can shoot but can't defend. And then Sasser, Ron Holland, and Solar Thompson can all defend but can't shoot. So it's like the substitution patterns always leave you at a disadvantage.
Right. Exactly. And then you got these 2, and then you got Darren. Moving on.
Yeah.
You know what? We bring Fritz in. Shots to make it make sense. He sends another. Hey, Lay, I like the way you're talking, man. I appreciate. He says, what I mean is nobody has to beat them by no one has beat them by double digits. No, I got what you're saying. No, we got what you. I know what you meant by no one has beat them like this yet. I still feel like long term they still might have an issue. And then then you have Jaden Ivey too, who's like a speed demon, and you have him next to Cade. Like those two together don't even make sense to me. It's like the pieces to me just don't make sense together.
But they definitely seem to be playing harder for Bickerstaff than they did. What's his name? Monty.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons why this is the first time they lost by double digits. Is they're actually trying, even if they're losing, they're trying to come back. And that's testament to having the right coach in the locker room.
Exactly. So shout out to
Fritz.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like I said, if you want to join the chat, if you want to join us, go ahead. Speak your piece. I know Phil Portal said the kids are away. Let's talk Knicks. I don't know if Phil wanted to come in and say something, but you could if you want to. Phil said something hilarious to me that made me. Yeah, just finished eating in a hotel, no wife and kids. No Knicks, baby. So you was free to scream and yell. Oh yeah. Freedom, man, freedom. Scratch your balls. Yeah, no wife and kids. Yeah. You're free, man.
Great to see you, Fritz.
Yeah.
Much love to you, dude.
Yeah. Oh man, it's nice to be here on Fan Friday.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, man? I be loving your background, man. I gotta set my background game because Fritz out here outshining me in the background. I need to figure out what Amazon site you got the lights from so I can use them.
Yeah. I enjoyed the game, man. It was over early.
Yeah.
It was over. Going into this year, I said, "Oh, the Knicks have a roster that a lot of defense, and they're gonna, kind of break teams' wills in the third quarter and kind of coast." And just to see them do it in the first quarter, that didn't look too good for Detroit. So, Detroit's team. We've had a lot of pick envy with Detroit. They always pick high. They always get, guys that people want. But that rebuild's been going on for like good talk about 4 years, and they haven't progressed.
Listen, we and Knicks Nation, we argued so many times about tanking versus not tanking. Trust the process became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Philly kind of did it right because they've been in contention, but they haven't gotten over the hump.
Let's go, KOT family in the house.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Let's go.
But it's I don't know, man. Leon is making me see the light not making me see the light. Like there's more than one way to skin the cat. Yeah, like you definitely wanna have cheap talent that is homegrown that you keep in your building. But feel like the Knicks have found a way to still do that without necessarily drafting the superstar. And I think it's just because they were just really smart on paying getting extremely good role players at discount prices, getting Jalen Brunson way undervalued, then the coup de grace, getting them to re-sign for way undervalued. Like, it kind of makes up the difference for not drafting a top 10 player over the last 10 years here. Outside, yeah. So trust the process or just create your own process, damn it. I feel like we just created our own process and got our own damn formula, and that joint's working.
Mm-hmm.
Phil!
What up? How you guys doing?
What's going on? For those who don't know. All right.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I took a 8-hour drive today to come shoot a wedding tomorrow. And so I watched most of the game on my phone while I was driving. It is what it is. Dedicated. But the two things that I see, and this is no shade to Randall. Anyone that's ever seen my takes knows that when Randall was not producing, I critiqued it. When Randall was, playing good ball, I celebrated him. I gave him his flowers. But the difference you see in this roster right now is that these guys do not give up. They do not give up on a play. And that's the one thing that every single game, except for that Boston one, we're going to just toss that underneath.
You was figuring it out. That was a game.
We're going to throw that in the closet, and act like that didn't happen. But besides that game, every single game, these guys do not give up on a play. Like, they are constantly, if you get blown by, they're finding a way to get back into the play. Like, even in OG, there was one play where he got knocked down on one side of the court. And what happens within 3 seconds? He's the one shooting the three-pointer on the other end of the court after they say, OG's on the floor. And then all of a sudden we get the ball, and who's the one shooting? OG. And so I think this is the difference that we're going to see this season from seasons past. You had guys like RJ. You had guys like Randall, that there were times where you were like, man, they're playing really, really great right now. But you could not say that they were always playing with 100% effort, game in and game out. There was always lackluster moments that you're just like, how do you do that? How do you go and put a 30-point game up, but still not care that something else is going on the opposite end of the court? And now we're losing this game, even though you're having a big game, because you're only playing part of a 48-minute game, And so I love the fact that these guys do not stop. These guys continue, and they want to get better and better and better. Look at all the freaking crazy you saw on Knicks Twitter after the first game. Bridges is broken. What a waste of trades. All this stuff. And now everyone's like, oh man, these guys, the new Jamal Rose, mini master. And I'm just like, how do you change your auto tune that quick?
Every year, Phil. It's every year.
It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely nuts. And so I'm excited for what we're seeing right now with these guys, because you're not seeing the Jalen Brunson show. You're not seeing Karl Anthony Towns coming in and it needing to be the Karl Anthony Towns show. And that's the friction you kind of saw at first when Jalen came in, when it was like, oh, it's Julius's team. Wait, now it's Jalen's. And there was that weird, how is this going to work in the beginning? You're not seeing that with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. They're actually making each other better. Like, the things that these two are doing with each other, it does not look like they're just playing with each other for the first time. That sounded weird. They're playing basketball with each other for the first time. It shows a continuity that isn't really there, but it feels like it is when you watch it. You feel like they've been doing this for a long time. And so it's beautiful to watch, and I'm really thankful. Shout out to Thibs. Yeah, I think he's absolutely freaking nuts that those guys were still out there after like we had already, visited the graves of the Detroit Pistons and our guys are still out there sweating and huffing and puffing. But other than that, he's been doing an amazing job coaching this year. So shout out to Thibs. Got to give him his flowers early. And honestly, we're seeing rotations I did not expect to see as well. Like, yeah, he's not putting a lot of different people in there, but you're seeing those Jalen Brunson and McBride minutes, and those are looking good too. A lot of people are like, he's never going to play the two small guards at the same time, and he is, and it's looking good. So he's playing, with different things that normally you wouldn't see Thibs do, but I'm glad to see it, and I'm excited for this season, guys. I really am. I really think that we have what it takes to go all the way.
Same. Yep. I think we all do.
I agree. This is shout out to my guy Phil, man. If you didn't know, Phil is new to KOT family. We always been cool. We always been cool with those guys over there, Morning Brew, and Phil is no exception. Definitely gotta check his show out Thursday nights, Knicks Nightcap. So he'll be back Thursday coming up. So, and that's a taste of what you get when you get Phil. Damn it.
And now that we have an expanded Avengers, you're going to see Phil and Fritz on post-game shows too, and just to have a nice mix up of diversity of the voices on the panel. Just like, I can't make every game, or every can't make every game. So now we got a whole damn Avengers now. You don't just fire Tates no matter who's on the show with JL. You already know JL is going to hold down the fort like Captain America, bro. It's on, man. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Anything to add to what he said, Fritz? I know you've been quiet for a while.
You know what I really liked is I really don't see a lot of ego in this team or like a hierarchy or what, we're not gonna start this play until someone touches the ball. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jalen has to touch the ball before anything happens. It could be 1-on-3. If you're open, you're shooting. It doesn't matter if you're Cat. And I think that's good for Cat. I think a lot of the problems in Minnesota is in his head, and I think a situation where he doesn't have to really worry about who's alpha, who's number one, who's number two. I think where you could just play. If you open, you shoot it. In where the mind games isn't there. So I think it's really going to help. I think this is the right place for Cat right now in his career. So, yeah.
Watching the offense today, it felt really Golden State-ish to me today. I was looking at it, I was like, wow, this really feels like constant motion, constant cutting, constant like moving the ball. It's like they got Draymond at the 5, we got Cat at the 5. Like he can shoot threes and pass. It's like I was like, what the hell? And then I had the thoughts like, damn, wait, Thibs did spend time in Golden State. he did study Golden State, so maybe he's stealing some things because the offense was looking really, really, really good. Granted, it's still the Pistons, still a bottom feeder team, but I still feel like the more reps we get in when we start to play these other teams that have better defenses and better pieces, we'll be able to replicate a lot of stuff that we saw today. So I'm excited to see where this team goes, and it's looking really good. Next game is going to be the next challenge. Next game is on Monday.
It's crazy, though, because we say, like, they're a bottom feeder team, but we say that with a squad that we have now. But if you think, last year, there was a huge portion of the fan base that wanted to trade, even including Mitchell Robinson, to get Jalen Duren. There were people previously that wanted to do everything possible to get Ivy into a Knick uniform. So they're players that I feel like we've seen their talent. They are very talented players, but just sticking a bunch of talent into one room doesn't get you a basketball squad. And with their coach last year in Monty and their coach this year, I don't think either of those coaches are going to bring the best out of any of those players. And so for me, it's kind of unfortunate for these young players because I don't feel like they're going to develop with any source of like direction on how to actually play team NBA basketball. And I feel like a lot of those years where you learn and grow how to be a real NBA player are going to be wasted on poor coaching in Detroit. So I think individually they're good players, but we're being coached on how to play as a unit, which is the most unified we have seen our team be. Because, like Fritz was saying, it's not a lot of like stopping and trying to figure out who's going to get the shot, and one person just giving up the ball so that they can go find another way to get open because they want to be the one to shoot. Like, it's not
Good
that.
point.
It's constant movement of whoever's going to get us the bucket is going to get us the bucket because championship is the goal. Like, that is the goal, not us. And you see that in our players. You see the selflessness that they're playing with right now, and everybody is eating. To hear in the Walt Clyde Frazier talking about in the first half, this is the first time since 2009 that, 3 players in the starting lineup have averaged, this much per season. Like, that means there is ball distribution that is happening with all of our players, and everyone's getting the opportunity to do what they do best, which I got to give it to Thibs because that's one thing I've always crucified him about. I'm like, stop trying to make these players what you want them to be and let them play their game. And this is a season that I'm actually seeing Thibs do that. And so I got to give him his props because these guys are doing what they do best, and they're not trying to be something that they're not, and it's working.
I want to add one short thing to that. Great convergence here based on what you said, and then the Golden State tip that Jay Ellis dropped about him studying them during his sabbatical. He was fired, so he was out of a job. He went to visit Steve Kerr and watched a couple practices. I think he's starting to use Josh Hart, and Josh Hart to me is the glue of the starting 5. I was very against him in that starting position because, as Jay Ellis and I have gone back and forth, he doesn't fit the prototypical 5th option that Thibs has usually had, which initially was Fournier or Bullock, then Fournier, then Grimes, then Devo. Josh Hart isn't that volume 3-point shooter, but he can defend at a very high level, but he's also being used in a Draymond role at the elbow, where he's either find those cutters in the backdoor opportunities, or he's doing a little bit. He's taking the ball on his own and hitting his mid-range push shot. So I think using Hart as a secondary playmaker in that Draymond role is helping relieve some of the pressure of Brunson to just be sometimes off ball and not have to do so much at one time, initiate the offense and look for his own shot.
Yeah. And also too, he's in constant movement. And if Josh Hart is in constant movement, first of all, you hear Ebony say it all the time. Josh is at his best when he's moving. But second of all, when he's in constant movement, even though he's that guy he's not the shooter, but because he's moving, you still have to account for him. So it's hard to kind of zero in and just kind of sag off to double on Brunson or whatever if he's cutting. So Thibs just found creative ways to kind of use him. Even sometimes like, hey, you know what? You bring up the ball. So now you got shooters around you. You know what I'm saying? So like you can dish it out to 4 other people or just go to the hole and get a layup. So Thibs has used his pieces masterfully, man. He's done a really good job just using every chess piece correctly. Using that knight to go on that angle and using the knight to do the crazy L zigzag moves. Thibs is the mastermind right now. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, in that Boston game, he had Josh Hart in the dunker spot. Now he's pulling him back out to the elbow and the perimeter, which I think is just it allows for better movement in Josh Hart, as you said, to be able to find cutters or to make the play himself.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is game 5, man? Game 5, man. This is game 5. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how far this goes. We ain't got Mitch back yet, man. We ain't get Mitch back. We ain't get Precious back. We still got some depth. We still got some depth to come off that bench because Miles McBride holding down the fort by himself. We still got some depth coming on the way. We still have the cavalry. I'm hyped, man. Definitely hyped.
One thing that's crazy for me is watching the development of Josh Hart. Since he came in, he had that eye of the tiger. Like that's one thing he's always had is that full on, I'm going to give my all. I'm going to do everything. Like, tell me what you need and I'll do it. But there's a difference between that Josh Hart and the Josh Hart you're seeing now. Because that Josh Hart came in with the desire to just help this team do something and playing whatever role someone wanted him to be in those moments. And I feel like it's kind of like watching Rocky before he got trained by Apollo Creed. Like I feel like that was him. Like he could hit, he could put in what you need, but once he got the actual training and someone who actually believed in him,
yeah,
and even when he wasn't sure where he fit, being like, "No, you fit. Like we're gonna figure out the best places for you."
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Thibs, the coaching staff, and his players brought the Rocky after Apollo Creed version of Josh Hart, where it's not just I'm swinging and hitting, but I'm hitting at all the right times. I'm doing all the things that are going to impact this game and also make those around me better. And the things that I wasn't so great at, like scoring, is becoming something that I am really proficient in. Like he is now a person that you do have to worry about. It's not 4-on-5 if Josh Hart's out there, offensively, because he's developed. And that's one thing you got to give him kudos to is that he wasn't content just being a guy that could help. He wanted to be a guy that came in and helped, but then figured out how to help even more and even more and even more. And he's been a total freaking game changer.
Yeah, and that's chemistry. That's being with one team for 3 years, learning your system, learning the coach. Oh, my coach likes me here. My coach likes me here. Like, it's funny. It's funny when Josh Hart said he was lost in the beginning of the season. There was like everybody was writing about it. In my brain, I'm like, man, this dude is trolling. Like, I honestly don't believe that he was serious. I honestly believe that he was just talking smack. And he was just like, it's preseason. I'm Josh Hart. These games don't count. I give 110% when I play. I'm going to give you 30% and try to learn my position and where to go. But like when the lights turn on, you can see it. As soon as game one started, it was like, all right, off to the races. I'm getting my rebounds again. I'm flying over the place again. It's like he's back to the regular Josh Hart. So I never really bought that one. And two, just him being with the team long term and being with Thibs long term. I think it's part of why he's fitting in so well and developing, because he knows his role now, for sure.
I got a question for our KOT family here, Phil and Fritz, and I'm gonna ask Phil go first on this one. When the squad's fully healthy, Jay Ellis and I touched on this earlier. What is your 9-man rotation? And let's assume that Shamet is brought in and Matt Ryan are both to either a 2-way or a full contract. So you have them as options for your 9-man rotation. And let's assume that the starting 5 it's right now stays the same. So I'm basically asking for those last 4 players. Who are those last 4 guys that you two think it's going to be, or who you want to see?
I'm about to ask you. Are you asking me who I want it to be, or who is it going to be?
Let's do both.
Okay, so who I would want it to be would be McBride, Kolek, Precious, and Mitch. I feel like when Mitch comes back, I hate having to say those words. That's my only gripe with Mitch, is that I always have to say when he comes back. It's like freaking A, but when he comes back, him coming off the bench, even when he first comes back and has to figure things out a little bit, he's going to make a lot of bench units very, very uncomfortable and very, very unproductive. And so for us to go, what if this scoring that we're seeing from our bench unit doesn't really sustain? Well, their scoring is going to be a lot less once Mitchell Robinson comes back. And then you pair him with Precious Achua off the bench as well. Now it's going to be really, really difficult for bench units to score on us, okay? And then you put that dog defense of McBride next to them. It's insane. And you put the, productivity and, facilitating of Kolek. It's going to be a problem for benches, especially when you throw OG to get a few minutes with the bench, or, Bridges, or even Hart. It's just going to screw up a lot of people off the bench, especially with Mitch coming back. Seeing any minutes where he's playing alongside Towns, that's going to look crazy. Like, that's going to be a problem for people as well. I think you guys were talking about Boston before I came in. That changes things a lot for Boston if you were to have both of them in the paint, because Porzingis is going to come back, but he's still not going to be 100% healthy. And he's not the kind of defender that he was when he was a young Knick, because he doesn't have that capability anymore. So you're not going to be able to do the Drew Holiday trying to lock down, Karl Anthony Towns, because now you got two guys that you have to worry about muscling you into the paint, which is going to be crazy. But even though my desire is Kolek, I don't think it's going to be Kolek. Unfortunately, this is the one thing that if I could slip some money in Thibs' pocket to convince him.
Jay Ellis too.
Yeah.
I don't have enough money to convince Thibs anyway. But maybe I can hook him up with one of my mom's friends or something, and find him a wife. I'll do it.
Find him a wife.
But I think he's I think he's gonna go with Shamit. And I can't be upset about that either, because before he got injured, Shamit was earning every moment that he got. Like, every minute that Shamit was out there, I was just like, holy cow. Like, this guy, I feel like Landry Shamit, in the few games that we were seeing with him, was one of the best versions of seeing of Landry Shamit. Like, yep. I feel like if he was always coming off the bench, in that role, his career would have been crazy different. But I really feel like, if he gets put in that spot, I can't be upset about it, because it adds a sharpshooter. It adds someone that, once again, hustles, someone that's got a wingspan for defense. And so I like the guy. So either Kolek or him would make me happy. But I think Thibs is going to go with Shamit for sure.
Fritz?
Okay. I'm going to jump out the window a little bit.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think Mitch is going to come back. I don't think he's going to be back for long. But
you saying he's going to get traded? That's what you're saying?
I think so. But I think it's going to be Shamit, McBride, Precious, and I think that spot will eventually be Huck Porty. Eventually. This season.
Over Sims.
I hope so.
Yeah. Sims. Yeah, Sims. He isn't inspiring too much confidence right now.
Let's go. The Sims hate is spreading.
No. Here's the thing. If you heard me in the beginning of the season, I was talking about, when Ron had us on Still Knick Fans. I was like, guys, let's not just throw Sims out the window. Maybe he just needs people that actually play his style of ball. No one's giving lobs to him. No one's doing this. No one's doing that. Well, now you're seeing everybody giving lobs to Towns, and it's working, or giving lobs to OG or whatever. Sims just looks like Bambi out there. Like, when she first gets her legs and doesn't know where to go, doesn't know what to do. And it's heartbreaking. Like, it's seriously, there was 4 missed offensive rebounds that turned into turnovers, back-to-back plays tonight, and they were all because of Sims, and he does the same face.
I mean, he had that block. I have to be a Sims defender since he's getting killed. He had that block in the first quarter.
Okay, well, someone's got to be a defender because it's not Sims, so I guess it can be you. But I like the kid, but he's just not, like I was saying about Hart. He's developed every season, multiple times throughout a season with us. Sims has been with us, and I don't see anything now that I didn't see then. Matter of fact, I see less now. Like, in the beginning, I saw him doing better jobs posting up. I saw him do better jobs trying to, take it to the basket for layups or dunks. I don't see that anymore. And so for me, I feel like the Sims time is done. I think Thibs might be throwing him out there as much as he is right now to try and see if there can be any, production that can spark interest to throw him into a trade. But I don't see Sims being with us very long. And if he is, he's just going to keep being what he is, which is that insurance if our guys go down.
I'll usually say something here, but Ron is here, so I ain't gonna say nothing.
Say what's up, Ron?
What's up, Ron? Shots to my guy Ron. Still Knicks fans. What's going on, Ron?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, yeah. So to mind me, I said, you know what? Let me see if I could put this whole thing together. It's first off, it's a good test for me because I got a new mic, and if it sounds good to y'all, I know it'll be fine tomorrow. So
it sounds great.
Sounds great.
All right, dope.
Hey
man, what's going on?
Okay, got that super chat money working. I see you.
We gotta put back into the system.
I got to. Gotta put it back in the system now.
Salute to you fellas, Lee, Phil, Fritz, Jay Ellis. Appreciate you guys. As always, it's a great time to be a New York Knicks fan, man. I'll take it.
For sure. Any thoughts on the game? Any thoughts on I don't know if you even heard the question about what that Lee asked about.
Oh no, I didn't hear it. I jumped in after, I think.
Oh, well, you want to restate your question, Lee?
Yeah, Ron, I was asking Fritz because me and Jay Ellis touched on it earlier. Who do you think the 4 guys off the bench will be in Thibs' 9-man rotation when the roster's fully healthy, assuming that both Matt Ryan and Landry Shamet are tenured a contract to be on the full-time roster? And give us who you think it's going to be, those 4 guys, and who you want those 4 guys to be. It even be the same 4.
Okay. So I guess I'll say who I want the 4 guys to be. I'm thinking, this is like, if I'm being real, if I'm a homer, if I'm being real, then it's Deuce, it's Tyler Kolek, and it's probably, I don't know enough about Matt Ryan to say what we can depend on from him, so I would go Shamet and then probably Precious Achiuwa. That would be my 4. Who I think it's gonna be? I think it's gonna be Campaign, Deuce McBride. It's gonna be Precious Achiuwa, and it'll probably be Landry Shamet.
What about Mitch?
Oh shoot, you did say everybody healthy. Damn, that's how tough it is. Even when you say that, I still don't know if he's healthy.
Right.
Damn.
Fair.
Damn, bro.
Oh man. Okay, hold on. With Mitch included, that changes things a little bit. So Deuce. Maybe I'm just somehow in the back of my head still thinking that Thibs really does want to go 10. I don't see how you can't go 10 with a healthy Mitch back and the guys that I named, because I feel like you got to have Deuce. That's automatic, right? I feel like Mitch is going to be there. That's 2. Those are automatics.
Mm-hmm.
Then you talk about who's the guys that have done enough, that have really, broken into Thibs's rotation. I think Campaign, he's got that trickiness about him that he doesn't, it's never too big for him. The moment is always there. So I'm thinking Campaign might be in there.
Campaign over Shamet.
Honestly, yeah, I think it might be Campaign, but I do think it's a good situation because you can trade off between the 2. If Campaign just doesn't look like he got it on that night, Shamet is the type you just throw him in there. There's lightning in a bottle. You don't know what you're gonna get. So I like that. And then obviously the other person is Precious. Precious has shown me enough that I'm glad we brought him back, even if he it gets moved later. I don't know, but I'm happy that he's on this team right now. So yeah, that's what I think.
When Fritz says he thinks Sims is going to be gone, I think Precious has the highest probability of being gone, just because of the work that's been done between Sims and Precious. Like, I feel like Precious just has more trade value. We pretty much gave him a no trade clause in the off season. So I feel like if I had to bet over who's getting traded, I feel like Precious would be traded, and Sims might be like not resigned or resigned for cheap. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of with you there.
Yeah, Jay. I don't think you're wrong. Like, and just the way they sign Precious, they literally could trade Precious and then sign Precious next year. Like, I don't think that's they might try that. Marcus Morris, we tried that. Hey, we traded Marcus, got a pick, and we tried to get Marcus Morris again, but his price went up. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks tried to trade Precious and then try to pick up Precious again next summer. Like, I wouldn't put it out possibility. Also, I think a lot of people are wrong about Matt Ryan and Shamit. I don't think it's Matt Ryan and Shamit. I think it's Matt Ryan
Or Shannon, yeah.
Matt Ryan and then Shamit. Like, Matt Ryan's dress rehearsal for Shamit. Matt Ryan in the short term. If we have a spot for you, we put you on. But if Shamit's healthy, you're not guaranteed you out of here.
Do we have the money for that though? Because getting into NBA economy
he's not
talk,
guaranteed, and they're let's see. So I guess at one point of the season, if it's not guaranteed, you can almost swap them out.
Because we have to have okay. Pause. We get into NBA economy talk now. Shout out to Fritz has got his NBA economy show. We got 12 contracts, right?
Yeah.
12 contracts. We need 14.
We got to get to 14.
Ariel Akaporti is going to be converted to a two-way contract. That's 13, right? Boom. But you still need 14. So
I think they're gonna get Matt Ryan there.
So you have to guarantee him. You can't give him a partial.
I don't think you have to. You don't have to guarantee him. You don't have to guarantee him.
How?
I don't think he has to be guaranteed.
You say he could be on a two-way? I thought you had to guarantee him.
No, not on a two-way, but not a guaranteed NBA contract. Like, swap him out at some point, maybe in January or something. If Shamit comes back, and then we drop Matt Ryan, or if there's a trade that happens in between there might be a space.
I think judging on what the front office has done, you could probably see Matt Ryan signed and then waived if Shamit is back and ready to play, and then Shamit's brought in, and then Matt Ryan's re-signed on a two-way contract and spends the rest of the time in the G League.
So we only got what, $3 million. Until we hit the second apron. So
that's what the tricky part is.
Yeah, so you can't really sign Matt Ryan for the minimum, which would be what, $2 million? Like, and then waive him and then sign up $2 million. Now we're on the second apron. Like that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's possible. Based on the constraints.
I think they're playing. I think they're playing like a lot of math problems right now.
Yeah, unless they're doing some other cap gymnastics I don't know about. Sorry, we got real nerdy talk real quick. But I don't know. I don't know if I can see that working. I feel like it's gonna be one or the other. I feel like they're gonna keep an eye on both of them on the G League, see what's happening, and then make a decision based on what's happening there. That's what I feel like is gonna happen. I could be wrong because I'm not a capologist, but that's what I think is gonna happen. All right. So salute to the chat, man. This is our longest post game in the Wow Fan Fridays. We got Phil in the building. We got Ron in the building. We got Fritz in the building. I like it, man. Late on a Friday night.
Hell yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to get off your chest?
Well, I just wanted to say, personally, I feel really good about this squad. It's still gonna be. I hope everybody, as fans, temper their expectations and their enthusiasm. It's gonna be ups and downs until they find themselves and until they really lock in. I still think, as I say with every team every year, it's gonna take about 3 weeks to a month before we really know what we got. It looks great right now. This is, I mean, Listen, tonight's game, I took a lot of positives from it, even though it was Detroit. And let me tell you something. When I saw the Jalen Brunson in the paint take the ball from one part of their paint and wrap around and get a free lane I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, teams
That's
are in
bad.
trouble.
I'm like, geez. So yeah, I think I'm really excited about what we got going on. And if anybody was really questioning the difference, and it's not to put the two against each other, but questioning the difference between how Cat can make the team better as opposed to what Julius brought for the team. Cat it just looks easier for Cat. Cat scores, more efficiently. It's quicker. When Cat gets the shot on the perimeter, when he's taking a shot, it's quick. You know what I mean? Like, it still gives the offense a little time to reevaluate itself and make another move. You don't have to worry about another person that does the dribble, trying to find their spot. So and plus, I mean, he can be a little wild with it, but Cat's a good passer, and he passes you open. So yeah, I feel good about it.
All good points.
The only thing I'll say, echoing that, is we got to realize that a lot of these teams that we're playing did not make so many drastic moves as we did right before the season started. But we got our teeth kicked in by Boston, but they've been playing with each other, and they were the champions last year.
Exactly.
That chemistry has been there. These guys have been playing with playing basketball with each other for years. Cleveland's doing really well now, but this is year 3 of these guys playing together. They weren't doing that in year 1, year 2. I think the beautiful thing is we're not going to have that long growth spurt that these teams had to have. But like Ron said, you got to give it a few weeks, because you're going to have moments like tonight. You're going to have moments like our game, our second game of the season. Who did we beat that night?
Who we won against?
We beat the Pacers.
Indiana, yeah. We're going to have games like that where things start to click and it looks beautiful. And then we're going to have some bumps in the road, like it was with Cleveland. And I think that we have to understand that that's okay, because with those bumps in the road happening now, that lets our front office see what needs to actually happen before the trade deadline, so that whatever things are not clicking can click by the time playoffs come. So I think we got to have some grace with it. The fact that our main 2 guys are already working flawlessly with each other, that's the greatest thing to celebrate. The fact that Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are bringing new elements of their game out of one another, and it's only been a few weeks.
Yes, sir.
That's huge. That is huge. The fact that after week 1, we did not have to talk about Mikhail's shot anymore, that is a blessing in itself. Because if we would have been seeing that like horrible shot into game 4, game 5, heart palpitations should be happening. But we don't have to worry about that, because he kind of worked and figured it out, and it's looking great now. So, and I think it's just going to continue to get better and better. And once again, we're the Knicks. Our roster is not even fully healthy and complete yet. So I think we got to have some grace, be excited for what we're seeing, and know that it's just going to continue to get better and better and better, and celebrate victories like the fact that Miles McBride is playing incredible basketball off the bench, and we could see a 6th man of the year candidate in Miles McBride. So there's a lot to celebrate. Don't be one of those Knicks fans that just harps on the negative.
Well said, bro.
Yeah, man. At this point, I just expect it to happen every year. Like, if you go back to Knicks Twitter every preseason, you'll see the drastic. I still remember IQ was a bum because he had a slow start to preseason. Then they wanted him to start over Jalen Brunson. I remember all of these things. I remember all these things every year. So the Mikal shot thing was just laughable to me. I was just looking at my watch until that rhetoric went away, and it took only this one went away quicker than I thought. It only took 2 games before that shut up. So it's like you can't just take some of these takes seriously, really. You just gotta roll with the punches and laugh, and then Say, look, we're here. And guess what, guys? It's going to happen next preseason, too. All right? It's going to happen next preseason. Straight in. Why do we? Every season. Every single season. Without doubt. Oh, man. But yeah, I enjoyed this show, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the show. Good to see have all you guys here.
Oh, I just wanted to.
What?
When we before the season, we were talking about the first 10 games, and everybody was looking, the first 10 games wasn't going to go that well. There's been changes in the NBA. Our next 5 will bring us to 10. When we look at that schedule, it's not as daunting as it was before. We see the Bucks. The Bucks don't look like the Bucks.
Yeah.
We see the 76ers can't even get into uniform.
Yeah.
Those 2 teams are in the next 5, and then we have 2 young teams next, in the Rockets and in the Hawks.
Good point.
So that doom we were looking at first 10 games, it didn't quite work out that way. Yeah,
exactly. We got rumors starting that Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to be traded. So it's like we game 5. Y'all talking about trade rumors already? Like, man, every season the NBA is so different, game to game. It's crazy. It's crazy. But you're right about that, Fritz. We looking good, looking really strong in these first 10 games. You're looking like a top 2. Top 2 looks like a seal. I'm not even gonna hold you. Top 2, top 3 already looking like we're in good shape. And we're gonna get back on versus the Cavs. I could tell you that. As I mentioned at the start of the show, we're unbelievable in terms of our advanced metrics. 3rd in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, a 3rd in true shooting percentage at .610. Those are unbelievable stats to start the season, especially considering we got mollywopped by Boston and then soundly beat by Cleveland. You factor those 2 losses in there and was still top 5 in true shooting, offensive and defensive. That's damn impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, I still feel like we could have won that game versus the Cavs if Brunson didn't twist his knee in the 3rd quarter. That's just me personally. But it is what it is. We lost that game. But I feel like that was the game. That little 5-minute spurt was really the game. But it is what it is. We're gonna get out and get back. And we're gonna have Mitch at a certain point with the Cavs, and we'll be able to pump them again like we used to. It's cool. All right. Now at a certain time of the show. I don't know if you guys ever done this before, but I know Lee has. I don't know, Lee, do you have any ooh or bruh picks?
Ooh pick. There's not much to root and be happy about if you're a Washington Wizards fan, but
okay. Pause. Hold on 1 second. Just to explain for anybody watching for the first time and don't know what this is. We have ooh picks here and we have bruh picks here. All right. Ooh picks are usually best plays of the game. And sometimes Lee, he just talks about other players and stuff that he likes in the NBA where he just want to shout them out and we just give him that ooh, all right. So that's what the ooh pick is. And bruh picks is just something stupid, dumb, idiotic that you want to point out and say, this is stupid, this is dumb, man. We just give that the bruh. That's the bruh pick. So just for you guys who don't know. All right. Now go ahead, Lee.
No bruh pick tonight, but I have an ooh pick, and I can't believe I'm combining ooh pick with the Washington Wizards. But 2nd year forward, Bilal Coulibaly is having a great breakout 2nd season. No sophomore wall here. He's averaging 18.8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 59% field goal shooting. Last game against the Hawks, scored career high 27 points, pulled down 9 boards as well. Between him and Dyson Daniels, best point of attack defense I've seen in the NBA thus far. I think Bilal has a chance to make all defensive 2nd team. It hurts because their record's so bad and the rest of the team is so crappy, but he looks to be a really great pick. And I mention him because our nemesis, the Pacers, drafted him and then traded him for Jarris Walker and 2 second-round picks. And last I checked, Walker's minutes per game went from 10 minutes last year to 5 this year. He's averaging like 3 points. So looking like another L for the Indiana Pacers. But shout out Bilal. I like finding gems on teams that make the lead pass worth purchasing. I actually have a bootleg stitch, so who am I lying to? I'm watching it on illegal streams. But if you want to watch the Wizards, if you want to watch the Wizards, check out Bilal. He's really improving as one of the great on-ball defenders in the NBA.
Okay, all right. Cool. Anybody else have any ooh picks or bro picks?
The ooh pick is the good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So for that one, for me, it has to be that OG play. Like you get knocked down on one side of the court, you guys get the ball, and you hustle back enough to be the one that scores the 3-pointer on a play that didn't last more than 3 seconds on our side of the court. Like that is the kind of hustle that you love. That's the kind of hustle when you pay a guy that kind of money, you want to see. And so with that kind of hustle, as long as he stays healthy, it's going to be an issue because this guy is freaking incredible. The other one, the bruh, was straight up like, it's insane. Grant Williams had a better tackle than most of the Jets, freaking starting defenders.
Bruh.
Like, it was insane to watch him straight up tackle Jason Tatum coming across half court. If you have not seen the play yet, it's absolutely insane. Nowhere near the ball, just straight tackled Jason Tatum to the point that the ref had to come over because he thought Jason Tatum was going to lay one on him.
Wow.
And it was insane. You got to watch it. It was kind of hilarious. So that's my bruh. Come on.
It's like, y'all traded me. Bruh.
Bruh.
That's gonna be Dante when we played him in January. Watch, I'm telling you. You think Dante won't tackle somebody? Listen.
Yeah, Rit Brunson.
Exactly. Dante got it in. He gonna tackle somebody. Watch. Somebody gonna have to get him off a deuce. You know what I'm saying? All right. I see Fritz thinking. I think Ron's about to go.
I got so the ooh pick for me would be I can't remember the beginning of the play, but I believe it was a steal, or I don't know, it might have been a steal or a turnover, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it's the play where the ball got to Karl Anthony Towns and he does the behind the back over the shoulder pass to Brunson. I mean, come on, that was fire. That was fire.
That was obvious.
Yeah, that was fire. So I gotta give that love. I don't think I have I can't really say a bruh pick. There was a point where the team was doing a box 1-3-1, and I saw on the back cut there was a screen, and then I'm just playing. I don't know.
I was like, what is that? It was a box.
No, but there was a little play. I'm gonna have to look at it for tomorrow because I'm gonna have a lot to say about Jericho. There was a play that Jericho. I mean, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's like handed to you. But yeah, I don't really got anything.
Yo, definitely check out Ron's show tomorrow on Saturday at Still Knicks Fans for sure. On YouTube, just type that in, Still Knicks Fans, and usually Fritz be having the shows in the chat. I'm pretty sure, but he's on duty now. I don't know. Can you do both?
No, look at this. This is a new and improved Fritz out here, double duty.
Best mod in the game. All right. Do you want to go, Fritz, or you want me to go?
I'm just gonna do the bruh. It's just the league starting the rumors early. Just the ridiculous rumors early. Milwaukee, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
They talk about trading people. People don't like each other. It's just ridiculous, kind of early. I'm glad our team isn't that kind of drama.
That's a fact.
Tom Thibodeau takes the brunt of it, but we ain't got those kind of problems.
Nah, I agree. All right. My ooh pick is going to be two oohs in one. One, fast break. Brunson throws somebody steals the ball, throws a lot to Brunson. I feel like McCall falls down, passes it to OG. OG passes to Brunson, and then Brunson throws a lob. No. McCall falls down, bats the ball to Brunson. Brunson throws a lob to OG for a dunk. That was it. And then the second ooh in that same play, OG dunks it. He falls, and I get nervous because he's OG. And he gets up, and he's okay. Because the way he took off and landed, I was like, oh, is he all right? Oh, he's okay. All right. Cool. So, yeah. That's my ooh. For the play, and he's healthy still. So
let me just tell you, JL, not to stop, but OG's he's gonna give us heart attacks all year, bro.
Sorry.
This dude looked like he got size 18 feet. He be tripping over himself. It's wild.
Every time he stumbles, my heart skips. Every single time. I need that top tier defense intact with the OG McCall Wingstop going, man. Need it.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to share a stat as I'm looking at tonight's game. Our starting lineup, 60% from 3 from OG, 50% from Towns, 50% from Bridges, 75% from Brunson. The only one who shot less than 50% from 3 was Josh Hart at 33%. But that is crazy that 4 of your 5 guys shot over 50% from 3. That's incredible.
That's incredible. I'm not even gonna hold you. Sometimes I'll be thinking, even though I think it's a bad thought, I'll be like, what if we had like a Herb Jones to start with those guys? I'd be thinking that just because of that stat. But then I just be loving. I just love the rebounding that he gives you is something that we just don't think we would have without him in the starting lineup. So it's like a catch-22 for me. But my brain was wandering when that happened with the rumors with him and Trey Murphy and whatever. But it is what it is. We love you, Josh Hart. I'm not trying to trade you. All right, cool. All right, let's get to where you can find you guys, man. We'll start with Ron since he's on a different channel.
Well, you can find me at Still Knick Fans on everything social media, definitely on YouTube. Saturdays and Mondays I have a show, and then probably this Sunday will be the first NBA wrap-up show on Nothing But Knicks, trying to get that going again, but it's been tough to kind of get back into the swing of things. We'll get it back.
Understand, man. All right, salute to my guy Ron. Dope guy, really good guy, man. Dope people.
Appreciate you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Fritz, man, Mr. NBA Economy. Where can they find you?
Yeah, NBA Economy Show on YouTube. I haven't been putting out that much content. Just enjoying the games. I do have content I do need to put out. Again, join, ask your questions. We're gonna it's gonna be a fun time. Like I think I'm gonna kind of broaden out beyond the Knicks, but enjoying the Knicks run right now.
Heard you. All right. Phil, man, let him know.
What up? You can now find me at my new home right here on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. with my guy Diehard Eru, Apollo from Guard Up Knicks, and right now is my guy Billy from Knicks Twitter as Bully figures out some things. But right here, Thursdays, 8 p.m. If there's a game, not going to be on till probably later, but we chose Thursdays because we have the least amount of games this season on Thursdays. Gives us the opportunity to just talk Knicks, talk whiskey, talk cocktails, just kind of hang out, kick it, and just enjoy it. Like it's pretty much a barbershop or, a dinner table of us just talking Knicks. I love it and thankful to be part of this network now. Twitter, Instagram, at Phil_all_caps. I put it in the chat. So if you're on Twitter or you're on Instagram, hit me up. Let's connect. We do have open panel every Thursday night. So come through, share your takes. I know a lot of you guys are in the chat, but we also want to hear your guys' voice. If you're afraid of the camera, don't worry. We can just, put a little picture of, something funny over you instead. And we'll put a picture of like Dante or Randall. That's what we'll do if you don't want to use the mic. But yeah, so that's where you can find me.
That's what's up. Gunshots from Phil and joining the team, man. That's what we do. That's what I can't even say that's what we do in Brooklyn because I don't live in Brooklyn anymore. I forgot. I moved to Jersey.
Oh man.
No, I know. I just duck in Jersey when they shoot.
Since Phil brought it up, I know the chat was mentioning it too. I'm not gonna keep doing this, but I'm still getting over it right now. But Randall and Dante are playing very well tonight. Just throwing that out there.
They're killing it. Randall looks really, really good tonight. I think he found the perfect team for him.
I like it.
Do I want to say anything? I kind of always felt like it could have worked. Personally, before the trade even happened, I felt like it could have worked. But it's working now, so I'm not going to complain. But I feel like it could have worked with Dante and Julius Randle. And I always reference that 10-game winning streak. And I'm like, man, when he comes back, it would just been a different brand of basketball. That's the way I see it. But I mean, at the end of the day, we still would need a center. So maybe that would have changed things because then you would have.
My only pushback.
Go ahead.
My only pushback is the one thing we are loving is
spacing.
That all of them are spacing, but also not giving up on plays and playing the whole game with the same heart, the same effort. 10 games to me was not enough to say that Randall would do that all season. If he was to be here, I was hopeful he would, but 10 games opposed to 3 seasons didn't give me enough to be able to stamp that and say that's what we would have saw for the whole season, and it would have been championship bound. Me personally, out of those two, the Dante one, I think Dante still could have fit if the money and the trade was right. Imagine if we had Dante coming off the bench.
What? Oh my God.
Unit, it would be insane. It would be insane. We wouldn't even be having Landry Shamet conversations because him and Deuce would be, killing it. But unfortunately, they didn't want the deal without Dante. But yeah, that's my only pushback on that. I think it's better for Randall. I think he fits better. I think going somewhere knowing that you're the number 2 option instead of someone else coming in and now you moving to a number 2 option, I think is a lot different. I think you're easier to get your headspace around that. With Julius going to Ant's team as opposed to Jalen coming to Randall's team and it becoming his team. I think it's a little harder to rewire that this is no longer your squad to run. And it took a little bit of time. I think it fits perfectly now, though.
I mean, all good points. All good points, because at this point, it's all assumptions. It's all assumptions. But I can't argue it because we never seen it.
Yeah.
We never seen it. So everything is assumption at this point. You just don't know. I don't even know why the things happened because, apparently he got traded at the draft. So I don't know if there was problems beforehand or not, or they just anticipated the money because that was a thing, or if it was just like we couldn't resign Hart and Stein, so it was the domino effect that affected anything. Who knows? But I can't argue with that. It's a decent point, but we'll never know, man. That would be the what if team for me. But the way this team is playing right now, I'll be over it. I'll be over it. If we keep going the way we're going right now, it's not gonna matter. All right. That's all I gotta say. All right. That's the show, guys.
Wait. I got good news.
What was that?
Instead of giving my Twitter handle and telling y'all where to find me, first of all, loved your takes. I really hope you come back on a Friday. Hell, I mean, anytime you want to come join us. I really enjoyed your point of view. I found myself agreeing with you. I typically don't agree with these guys. I tend to be the odd person out on this show sometimes. But I really loved your takes. And of course, much welcome to Phil. We need to have a show where we actually sit down, Phil, me and you, and interview you on your knit fandom. I would love to do that.
Let's do it.
Let's sit down the books just to introduce you to the family, make you feel like you're really part of what's going on here.
And we got to do that for Ron. For those you don't know, Ron was the first. Actually, Lee interviewed me. I feel like Ron might be the second. I feel like it happened back to back, actually. Like Lee interviewed me when he was writing, And then Ron hit me up and he interviewed me on Still Knicks Fans. But I always wanted to get Ron up here. Sorry to interrupt you, Lee, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Go ahead.
I don't have a book club book. And of course, Fritz, you know I love you, bro. I don't have a book club today, but I did want to tell y'all that I really appreciate all the prayers everyone's giving me about my mom's situation. For those who don't know, she was evicted from where she lives, which was a group home for disabled people. She's essentially bedridden, so I guess the owner of the place expected her to like pull her bed out and move herself. It's a really messed up situation. I was fighting with the city these last couple of days, and today we moved my mom into a new place.
Let's go.
Wow.
And she now has
on that.
Permanent living situation. I don't have to move her in here with me or with any other family member. She's now has the independence back with full-time nursing. So it's really just by the grace of God. That's things I love about being on this channel is that, we always give glory to God when we're trying to pray, and we always pray for each other when times are tough. So double blessings to my KOT family. And I'm really, really thankful that transpired. And I'm really grateful for all of the prayers, conversations, especially Ebony and Ryan, who weren't able to make it today, but have been behind the scenes. Really sweet to me. Jay Ellis is my best friend, so he's always there for me. I just really appreciate you guys, and God bless, man. She's in a good place now.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
I love
news,
that.
man.
Great to hear that. That's
awesome
great news, man.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right, man. You already know you can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick Time Show on Facebook. And we're also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Thanks to the best mod in the game, who also is a podcaster at the same. I'm sorry. Who's a mod that's a podcaster too? All right. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Shout out to my guy Fritz. All right, cool. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back on Monday, but listen, go to my guy Ron tomorrow. Still Knicks Fans, gotta do that. Come back here on Monday. We'll probably be here Wednesday too. And then Thursday, you gotta catch Phil on KOT as well. So you got a lot of watching to do, all right? All good people, all good shows. Check them all out, all right? That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the worldwide west. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.